Knicks fans, you guys might not want to hear this one, but it's looking more and more likely that Ben Simmons will get that final roster spot for the Knicks on the veteran minimum deal. And whether you actually love this idea or absolutely hate it, the Knicks seem to be more serious than ever about this move. But that's not all, because several insiders just dropped updates on other names being considered, including a new name that we will discuss later in the video, Delon Wright as well, and Malcolm Brogdon, which tells us that the Knicks are still figuring out what kind of backup guard they want heading into the season. So today we're breaking it all down: why Simmons seems to be on the top of New York's radar, what role other vets might play, and how this signing could shape Mike Brown's rotation. So let's jump right in. Alright, let's start with the headliner, Ben Simmons. According to multiple reports, including Ian Begley, Brett Siegel, and even Brandon "Scoop B" Robinson, the Knicks have shown sustained interest in Simmons for weeks now. Begley said that the Knicks were still strongly in the mix for Simmons as recently as earlier this week. Siegel went a step further and said with the Celtics reportedly out of the Simmons sweepstakes after signing Chris Boucher yesterday, the Knicks are now considered the frontrunners. And Scoop B added a fascinating detail: Mike Brown, now the Knicks head coach, was apparently salivating over the idea of coaching Simmons when he was with Sacramento. And of course, that never ended up coming to fruition, but it's very possible that Brown is pushing for this move behind the scenes right now. Now, let's be brutally honest, Simmons' reputation is tough in today's league. Knicks fans, including myself, are understandably skeptical. His shooting is non-existent, his health has been inconsistent for years, and let's not pretend playing in New York does not come with insane pressure. Add all that up and yeah, the majority of Knicks fans do not want Simmons in this locker room. But here's what the front office may be seeing: a versatile defender who can guard 1 through 4, a 6'10" ball handler with elite vision and pace in transition, and someone who might be worth taking a minimum flyer on if he's healthy and mentally in a better place. So if Simmons is willing to come off the bench and buying into a defined role under Mike Brown, the Knicks might see this as a low-risk, high-upside gamble, but that's a huge if. Now let's zoom out. If the Knicks decide not to sign Ben Simmons, there are still several names being floated around right now. James Edwards from The Athletic reported that Monte Morris, Malcolm Brogdon, and Delon Wright are all worth keeping an eye on for that final spot. And yes, the new name that I was talking about in the beginning of the video is Monte Morris. He might be the safest option. He's a steady, low turnover point guard who's well respected around the league. He will not wow you, but he will not lose you games either. Now look, he's also an undersized point guard at about 6'1" and has been dealing with a few injuries here and there lately, but he's the ultimate professional. Now Malcolm Brogdon is probably the most talented name available, but also is the most expensive because it might be a sign and trade deal involved. And of course, there's the injury history as well. He only played in 24 games last season, definitely not the most reliable. But despite all of that, he would still be my #1 option out of these names mentioned. And then we have our very own Delon Wright, a solid veteran, strong defender, limited offensive impact but reliable. But again, if the Knicks truly want a backup ball handler with no drama, no headlines, and no spacing concerns, Monte Morris might be the best fit on paper. Now, of course, Ben Simmons is not the player he once was with the 76ers, but he still offers something that none of these other guys do, and that is star-level talent, even if it's buried deep beneath years of baggage. Now, here's the math. The Knicks currently have 12 players on standard contracts. They need to have 2 more players to get to 14. And one of those will be on a rookie minimum deal like a Mohamed Diawara or Kevin McCullough Jr., and the other will be one of these guys that we mentioned in today's video potentially. And something that I found very noteworthy from James Edwards' article recently was that he did not mention Landry Shamet as an option. He said he specifically thinks that the Knicks are targeting a backup point guard. So it looks like Shamet is not their priority right now. But look, nonetheless, whoever they sign next will tell us a lot about what Mike Brown and the front office want from this rotation. Do they want a traditional point guard who can spell Jalen Brunson like Monte Morris, or a defensive wild card like Simmons who can run the offense in non-traditional ways? And don't forget, Mike Brown has a big voice here. Begley confirmed that Brown, like Tibbs before him, will be involved in personnel decisions. So if Simmons really is in the mix and Brown was already eyeing him in Sacramento last season, it's possible that Mike Brown is pushing for this more than anyone else. Brown may feel confident that he can maximize Simmons' strengths, especially in a second unit filled with a lot of scorers. So if Ben Simmons lands in New York, this will be Brown's biggest test as head coach right away. So Knicks fans, I gotta know, if you had the choice, Ben Simmons or Monte Morris, who are you trusting as the backup point guard this year behind Jalen Brunson? Let me know in the comments down below because I'm genuinely curious about what the fan base thinks right now about this. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want to support the channel and help me make more videos like this, make sure to hit that like button and sub to the channel for more Knicks news and updates you will not want to miss. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.